Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I have a really interesting conversation for you. So these days I've been getting lots of requests on LinkedIn and also in my personal life to just talk about, how do I get into Google, how do I pivot into product marketing, from a different background. What's my advice to someone who's trying to pivot? What's my advice to someone who's interviewing with Google? And I would like, I'm thankful for the opportunity to share my experiences, and my whole brand is sharing as I learn. But so today I figured, why not sit down with someone and actually talk about this? And the way it worked out was really nice. So Kewa reached out to me to, ask about how I pivoted into product management, because she's interested in doing that as well, and that she had some questions for me and all of that good stuff. So I reached out back and said yes, but then I thought, let me record it. So thankfully she consented. So this is a conversation where I talk about everything from how I got into Google, the mentorship program that was helpful in this process, my current experience as a product marketing manager, the interviewing process to become a product marketing manager, my tips for people that are looking into getting into this role, some of my plans for my future that have nothing to do with product marketing management, overall advice for everyone who is, job hunting during this time, and just vibes. This is a really long video and I have broken it down. I hope I will break it down into chapters so that it's a bit more manageable and you can skip to what you need. If you enjoyed this video, I'm asking that you please subscribe to my channel. I'm growing and I am looking forward, like you will hear, into being like a full-time YouTuber at some point in my life. So I need your help. So subscribe and share it, but also tell me what is helpful. And if you have any suggestions for further videos, it's just helpful for me to know so that I can help people at scale as opposed to having one-on-one each time. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you for stopping by my channel. I'm Fopsy, and listen and enjoy. Don't forget to subscribe.
Okay. So yeah, my career really started for me in recruitment. I was a recruiter for about 2 years,
okay.
But I didn't find it challenging as I wanted it to be. So early 2020, I decided to participate in a hackathon,
okay.
And in this hackathon, it was by Ryerson University. And my team ended up winning the hackathon.
Nice.
Yeah, thanks. So we decided to co-found a company called Everlinks. So Everlinks was an online marketplace connecting PPE suppliers to small and medium-sized businesses across Canada. So this was a huge initiative to really get into product management, at least for me, from product strategy, development, all the way to launch, to be able to release this product to consumers. Shortly after I switched roles from a recruiter to a strategy consultant role, where I was supporting with digital transformation projects and also supporting with upskilling employees within an operational group. And much more recently, I currently work sort of as a manager, future work technology strategy, and also a bit of a product owner, where I do support the employees returning to work from a technology perspective.
Okay.
So one of the initiatives that I lead right now is releasing a hybrid assistant bot to support hybrid experiences of employees globally, so about 80,000 employees globally. I've also recently just completed my master's program, Masters of Management, Innovation, and Entrepreneurship from Queen's University. I know that's a mouthful, but I recently just completed that in November.
Congrats.
And yeah. Thank you. So definitely looking forward to making more of a direct switch into product.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, right now my role really entails product management too, but really wanted to make a dive into that. But yeah, I wanted to learn more about your experience, how you made that transition into product. So I do have some questions listed here, but obviously I'm going to pass it over to you just to learn more about you, and then I can go into some of the questions I do have.
Sure. So I just wanted to pause and acknowledge your career. It sounds really exciting. You've done a couple interesting things. You've also been a co-founder with the Everlinks one. I googled it quickly, but I think I might have the wrong one. I have everlinks.io. Maybe it's the wrong one.
Yeah.
What else was I gonna say? Yes. Also, congrats on your master's. That's
Thank
huge.
You.
Is it Queen's? The university everybody goes. Everybody's going there now for that program.
I know.
Especially. I guess they're popping. Whatever they're doing is working. I was also gonna say. So I feel like I had a bit of my story in yours with the your current role not necessarily being a product manager title, but you feel like you're doing a product owner role. So there's a bit of product in it. And I feel like that's one way to get into products, because Products, I feel like it's a fairly new domain, so a lot of titles are not necessarily like, except you're in a tech company or like a company that reviews roles frequently, or like somebody is really on top of their job with the figuring out titles and all of that. I feel like for older companies, they might still lump things together under lump products roles together under other titles, is what I'm trying to say. So like in a sense, it's up to you to kind of like describe what you've done and link it with, this is actually I have the experience for product ownership or product management, even though my official title hasn't been that. But yeah, segueing into my story. So where do I start? So undergrad side, and then I worked a little bit, like a couple months, and then took some months off, and then I wanted to go to counseling, but ended up changing my mind, and I did an MBA. Then I went to do an MBA. My MBA was with a focus in data analytics, and I went into the field just because I thought it was popping, but like along the way I thought it was still a good thing to do, because like after school I know that you're looking for an opportunity, and basically I didn't think it was too important which opportunity. I just wanted like a degree that I could get a job after grad and everything. So along the way I discovered business analysis, and that's what I did for like 3 years. So it was within that role that I kind of got into product. So when I was a business analyst, I did that for like a year, and then I was looking for something else. So while it was my home role, I was able to explore other roles because I worked for the government, and my manager was really sweet. So like when I told her that I was looking for something new, it was she like linked me up with another opportunity. So there was like one team that was doing product management. They were building a brand new product, which was like a software to manage like Ontario workers queries basically, and having a side for both the workers and a side for employers and a side for inspectors. So it was like a whole program, but it was done in a pretty agile way, so each chunk was broken down into products pretty much. So the opportunity was to like shadow the product manager and I guess do whatever needed to be done. So in a sense I was like an associate product manager, even though nobody gave me that title. But that was the work, and it was my first real exposure to like products. It was really great. I learned a lot about managing the product backlog, about prioritizing things, about managing stakeholders' expectations that don't really line up with the work you're doing, managing dev teams, design teams, and really working really collaboratively, which is one of the ways I think that products get built these days. Like you don't just have like the designers on their own, or the tech developers on their own side. Like you kind of work pretty closely. So that was what I took away from it, that this seemed like a cool gig. There's a lot of skills you need to have as the product manager, but I think it's just like understanding what you're actually doing, being able to communicate properly with the stakeholders, people who are actually paying for it pretty much, being able to like balance things. Sometimes it's like multiple competing priorities, and like you really have to just like figure out which of them is going to step up. But all these things honestly are in a sense transferable skills. Like you could have done that as a manager, you could have done that as a like a business analyst, because there are different things that in every job you're doing multiple things, right? So I think one of the things about pivoting into a new role is like reframing your experience. So exactly. So like telling your own story to suit the opportunity you're looking for, which is how I can put it, because your career, I mean, for me, I find my career is not linear, like junior accountant, senior accountant. Like, so I have taken different paths. After the product manager gig, I was trying to find another full-time role that was like a product manager, but it was the government, and that kind of role was pretty new, so there wasn't anything else like that. So I was thankful to still have a job, so I went back to my business analyst job, but like I wanted to do something different. So after a couple months, I applied to a couple other product management roles within the company and also outside, but didn't really get anything back. So I started working as a policy advisor because a mentor like pitched me for it, and it was like an easy road, not easy road, that's not the right way. Like, it was something that I could get into without too much stress, and it was just different, and I was looking for something different at the time. And honestly, I thought maybe this would be a different side of government that I haven't experienced, like policy creation or something, but that was not it. It was very administrative, and I was like, okay, now I want to go back to my business analyst role, but obviously I cannot just be jumping back and forth. So I'm like, knowing that I didn't really, like, I loved all the people I work with, but the work itself was just not exciting. So I was looking for a way forward, basically, and then I figured if I don't really want to go back to the business analyst role, or I don't want to stay here, maybe I should like look outward. So I started applying like crazy. We didn't really get a lot of callbacks, honestly. Now, how I got into Google. So I'm doing it is one of the key parts into how I got into Google, and shout out to I'm Doing It. You can check them out. They are literally running a new cohort right now. They help black students get black professionals, or black people in general, basically. Wait, that's wrong. Black youth. So it's young people. Yeah, black youth. There we go. Black youth get connected with opportunities, whether that by mentorship, largely by mentorship. So connecting people that are higher up in the career, and they can be from any race, just to help people learn more about what they do and help them get into roles that might be interesting and everything.
Yeah,
like, I mean, it's not. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I just said no. I did join the mentorship session they had last year. The year before, but they didn't have anything related to product management, but they have a cohort from Google for product management, so definitely we'll be targeting that for
so
this
it's
cohort.
Interesting, but my mentor was not a product manager at all. So at the time I was looking for a job. I had been searching for like a year when I joined I'm Doing It. That I didn't join the cohort to find a job in Google. I just wanted to like after searching for like Sorry, I keep interrupting you.
Yeah, no. I was just saying, just piggybacking on what you said, just to expand your network, I guess.
Yes, expand my network. And around the same time, I guess it was hit of the pandemic, Tenny started making the move as well. And so I was going to all these sessions just to connect with people that were doing interesting things in their career. I was interested in marketing at one point, so I went into that as well, like talking to people that were in marketing. Then like after a bunch of these conversations and like some research and inner thinking myself, I decided that I like product management, but I think I thought I wanted like a creative side of it, or like something that merged some of my previous experience in marketing, because all this while I'd always done freelance marketing, both with my husband, like the image studio, or with also like non-for-profit, so church and things. And I thought like it was interesting, and I thought it would be nice to see what it looked like to do it full-time as opposed to just like in pockets here and there. So I discovered that there was a thing called product marketing management, and I was like, okay, sounds like product manager but on the marketing side. So I started applying for those ones, still nothing. Anyway, so back to the mentor person. When we started talking, it was pretty much just to like get guidance on my career, because at that point I was confused, like, do I have the experience I need to get the job I want, or like, do you think I should do more? Do you think I should stay where I am? Do you think I'm being too in a hurry to like get things started? Just to kind of get some advice basically from someone who was a bit ahead. And over the months we just like developed a good working relationship, and then when I started to ask me questions about what kinds of things I wanted to do, I said like I think I want to work for like a fast-paced company, like to like for a change. And I had NYX on my mind. NYX is this underwear brand in Canada that I just like, and so he connected me with somebody who he said was working with small and medium-sized businesses in Canada that might be good to talk to. I spoke to the person. He was also at Google, and he ended up saying, oh, like during the conversation, it's like, oh, I think I have a role for you that you might be interested in. And I was like, oh, like we weren't talking about a job, it was just like a conversation like this exactly. And it ended up so the first role I interviewed for it, I got to the second level of interviewing. It went well, but like I didn't get the job. Then another one came up, and then I did it, and it took like forever because Google's process is interesting. Anyways, and then I got in. So that's my long story of how I got into Google. So I feel like what helped me stand out with the Google side was, so I had done that product management work, but then I also have a small business. So my role right now is I lead small business marketing in Canada, and I have a small business, so I have the experience of also being a small business owner. I have had experience in marketing. I know all the tools. I've been involved in like strategizing for different organizations, with Yazim, with churches, with some other non-for-profits I volunteered with in the past. So even though it wasn't like, it had never been my day job, I'd always done some marketing. And then I also had like some business analysis experience that was important to like be able to come up with new strategies or whatever. And then definitely having spoken to somebody who actually was able to gauge their perception of my skills and abilities, I think that definitely helped. And then having someone just like, you know, root for you basically, although I don't think it really helps, because if it helped, it would have helped the first time. So yeah, that's my story of how I got in. Man, it was plenty interviews, that's what I can say. Like 2 interviews for the first one and 3 for the second one. And then even then you weren't like, it wasn't sure that you got in, because like there were other things called like I can't remember what the name is, but like a board that examines your whole package to see if you're really worthy of it. From everything you've shared with me and my whole ramble, which I will stop in like a minute, I feel like you have an interesting background, because like you have the masters of management, you have your current experience in management, you have like your past work in HR, which I don't know if it relates to product management, but I would say like at least in the soft skills part of things, you have that part covered. So the only thing missing is basically to like put that together and like say, and this is why you should hire me, like basically making it a story for yourself with all that you said. But I will pause because I've been talking for a while and let you ask your questions.
Yeah, no worries. No, I was just taking notes here, and it's definitely very helpful. I guess where I could start from is the interview process. Can you go a little bit deeper into, you know, what the process was like, and then how you actually prepared for the interview? Okay.
So my Google interview process was, if you're looking for a product manager interview, I don't have that. I interviewed for a product marketing manager role. So it's a bit different. I did what I believe every normal person does. I went to Glassdoor, I went to the internet to look for like what the kinds of questions does Google ask. So like I tried those ones, but then I also I literally like studied the job description to make sure that I understood everything that was in there. And like then I started to learn more about the industry that I would be working in, which was like small business, also digitization, so that the things will be fresh in my head, basically the things relating to the industry. Excuse me. And then there's this really helpful video. It's I think it's actually by Google itself. There are 2 ladies, I feel like they're 2 black girls, talking about like the interview process with Google, and they talk about these steps that you should think about when answering questions. So like answering questions, thinking of questions as that it's not like they really care about the answer. They care about like the process you're going through in answering the question. And this answer will be different if you're doing a technical interview like engineering, or even maybe a different kind of a technical product manager kind of thing, because my own side was more on the marketing side. But I think like for my brother has done an engineering interview with Google, and I think they actually wrote like an exam or something like that, not exam but whatever, a written part. So for me, I had to practice not going straight into the answer, like, but thinking back, like if they asked me like they didn't ask this question, and I don't even think I'm allowed to like talk about exact questions, but let me pretend they asked like how many tomatoes will feed Hamilton or something like that. Very random question, but like you have to then follow up with like, oh, so maybe I assume that the population of Hamilton is about XYZ, given that X tomato feeds 1 person. But let me give you a relevant example. This is one example they used in the video. I think it was planning an event in New York or something, and like so they were asking the girls had to ask question about like if they've done a similar event before, like if she could connect with the person that planned it. Just thinking about, you don't have to start from scratch each time, like you can utilize resources you have. Thinking about like how much budget do you have, you know, what the number of people you're planning for, just things to show that you're thinking critically, basically. And then for me, all of my answers, I guess it's just a philosophy. I just always assume that every question should sort of answer the question, and this is why I should hire you. Like everything should kind of end into like the role some way, or like some peculiar traits about you or something. And I'm sorry if this is just generic, but like I did a lot of reading as well for not reading. There are a lot of YouTubers that do interview preparation. There are two people who come to my mind. I can see their faces but not their names, which sucks. But like the person that pops up when you ask, tell me about yourself question, I think she's an Asian lady. She has like things to talk about, like basic stuff like that. And there's another man, oh god, I'll send this to you after because I can't remember their names for the life of me. But yeah, I went through those regular processes of answering questions, and then with the conversations with the recruiter, not recruiters because they were both managers in different areas, like I tried to show that I understood the industry I was going to be working in by talking about relevant things, not just like a news happening, but like maybe mentioning stats from there, discussing some of their struggles, and yeah, things like that. And then bringing some of my own experience to my experience in marketing, my experience in my own small business, some things I had noticed, some good things about Google, some things I thought they could improve, things like that. I feel like you interview really well because even the way you introduced yourself, it was like very on the ball.
Oh yeah, thank you. That's great to hear that my elevator pitch was good. But another, just to dive deeper into that, you mentioned we have 3 stages. So I'm guessing what you just spoke about was sort of overall of everything. But if you were to break it down into like various stages, was there like a case interview in any of them? Was there like just behavioral?
No, it was all questions. And I wouldn't consider them stages. They're just 3 interviews because some of them were even repetitive. Like the second interview repeating some questions that the first person had asked. Yeah, which is helpful. Anyways, if you remember the questions that were asked. But because it was each interviewer, I pretty much had to start with a little bit. Even if they don't ask you, tell me about yourself, you have to kind of like give them a little bit of yourself in a nutshell because it's each new person. The first 2 interviews were like the main ones. I felt like the third person was just like to bring somebody outside the team to interview you, so that it's not as if the team is trying to hire somebody that you just like or something like that. Also, my recruiter was pretty helpful because you have a recruiter assigned to you and you can ask them any questions, and they're pretty, that part was very thorough. I've never had like a recruiter like be hopping on calls with me and like just able to answer any questions I have. I think that was helpful also because there was so much time. I feel like the interviews spanned over 3 months. I don't know, it was just long.
Wait, over that course of time, did you also connect with either any mentors to support you during the process?
What do you mean? Like mentors from where?
So like mentors, like people you've connected with, or or coaches.
So I didn't have coaches, but after every interview, I spoke with people that I had met along the way if they like to just debrief and like give encouraging words and stuff like that. But my issue was I didn't like how long it was because I feel like you're holding your breath the whole while, and it's just like I'd like to release it. I didn't really have coaches. My husband has recently gone through a different set of interviews and he really advocates for coaches, but me, I didn't have coaches. But whatever your style, I guess.
Okay. Some of the key things that you had mentioned in terms of those skills, just going a little bit deeper into what are those practical skills that you highlighted that was able to really position you for those roles. I know you mentioned marketing, you mentioned your past experience, but what are some of those key top 5 skills that really brought you out? What would you say they are?
I want to say a little bit of favor because I don't know that I was necessarily the brightest, although I don't want to downplay it either because I felt like I was a strong interviewee maybe. Now that I'm in the role, I can look back, but I wouldn't necessarily have been able to say this a couple months ago. So knowledge of the industry, yes. Ability to like own a project end to end and like plan it, execute it, recap it, like all of that good stuff. So a bit of project management, some leadership, so leadership of yourself, but also able to kind of like steer people above you into the direction you're going to. It's a bit vague, but like basically influencing and leading. Is it leading up? If that's how to say it. Like helping the people that are above you get what you're doing and buy into it as well. But how do you demonstrate that in 45 minutes interviews? You do your best to stay confident and instill confidence that you really know what you're doing. And I think it sucks that interviews are so interviewee that like it's hard to be normal, so you have to like learn how to calm your nerves enough to get the right answers through. I also interviewed I interviewed virtually like this, so it was helpful. I had points of things I wanted to make sure I covered during like interviews. So I tend to normally when I'm talking to someone I don't know or anything like that, I could be rambly. So I literally had do not ramble signs everywhere. I had like I know, but I also had like point form things that I adapted from the job description that I wanted to weave into my experience. So like almost like tailoring what I said to what I knew they were looking for. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, no, that's definitely very helpful. And like what you mentioned about that do not ramble, I tend to do the same thing sometimes.
Yeah, I don't hear it, but okay.
Yeah, you don't?
No.
I do. I guess the next question I do have here is, so what are you doing in your current role right now as a product marketing manager? If you can go into more details. I know you did mention about, you're supporting small business owners. So if you can go into what that looks like, is that from product discovery or like go to market launch? What does that entail?
Okay, so right now I'm not like I don't own a single product, which is where you would be going to market and things like that, or like more things. So mine is more like a portfolio of things that I have to. Let me start. I connect with other product managers like that. My managing specific products, so like maybe Google My Business or business profile now, or like grow my store, Google Ads, Google Analytics, like things that individual products, and being able to think about the benefits to small businesses. So anytime something happens that relates to small businesses, maybe that a change is happening on those sites, it comes to me first, like to make sure that like it makes sense to me and my market, which is Canada. Get things translated for French as well. I don't speak French, but somebody else does it, but I just manage it. I also manage programs that are serving small businesses. So one of our major programs is Shopify powered by Google, where we partner with Digital Main Street to bring small businesses online. It said at the beginning of the pandemic because lots of small businesses were not online at all, and so we had a goal to bring 50,000 small businesses online. This was before my time, and so far we brought over 30,000 small businesses online, helped them build online stores for free. So the other partners in the program as well, so Shopify, I think Meta as well, and they all like give nice perks to help small businesses get online, so like incentives to run ads, and Google does that as well. But I work closely with the team because like Google is a major partner, while the other partners were a major partner, and so making sure that like we're hitting our targets, we're serving the businesses we need to serve, thinking about what needs to happen after they connect with the program, just basically how to get more people to sign up for the program, connecting with people that are like our digital marketing team is running ads for it. So that part, program management, is a huge part. Also planning for major events that we have during the year. So like the holidays is a big part of our year. International Small Business Day that happens around June is a big part of our year. And even though these are like moments, it takes a lot of planning to get to them. And overall, I guess I'm an advocate for small businesses. So I like whenever a conversation is happening that they want someone to speak to small businesses about, not like speak to people, but like to represent people, small businesses in a meeting or something, like that's like the core of it. There are probably other things, but those are the top things I can remember right now.
Yeah, no, this is definitely very helpful. One of the things you mentioned was partnerships with Digital Main Street. And when I did co-found my startup, we were looking at what it would be our target market, and we're able to partner with Digital Main Street and partnerships with like EIAs, because it was such a perfect way to reach out to small business owners. And one of the things when building sort of the roadmap was starting with non-medical businesses, because it was hard penetrate the medical business market. So starting with especially non-medical business, that was such a huge way and perfect way to get into that market and target those business and build awareness on that front. I know we're over time.
That's
here,
okay.
so
I
just
have
want to
time.
check.
I'm good. I'm good to keep going. But actually, I want to ask you some questions myself.
Yep.
Do you still work with Everlinks? Is that what you're doing full time right now?
No, oh God, no. So we retired it just because of conflict schedules of us, the co-founders. Like I started my master's, someone else was just finished her MBA. So yeah, conflicting schedules and resource constraints. Yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay, but it seems like a great experience, and like that's something that you can. That you can speak to directly as a founder, as a the tool, as a product itself, partnership forming, and even just having that experience of dealing with external organizations and like aligning your interests is pretty great. Okay.
Yeah. No. Thank you.
Where are you right now? Sorry, are you with RBC?
Yeah. Still with RBC.
Okay.
Yeah, still with RBC. I mean, the goal is to either get a product role eventually within RBC or get it outside RBC. So, yeah.
I feel like if you're able to get a product role within RBC, even if it's not like long term or anything, but it would be nice to like at least get that thing started. I think it helps a little to have like that, to see that you've worked that title. It sucks that you need experience to gain experience, but it is what it is, and it might be easier.
It really sucks.
Yeah.
And one of the things you mentioned about positioning yourself or framing your experience, and one of the things I've done in my resume is I remove sort of the manager aspect and I put product on it because I'm managing the product eventually. So, so to your point around changing that experience to allude to what I want. Yeah. And especially if I'm doing it, I'm not lying. Yeah.
I think there's a book called How to Product that someone, I don't ever remember people's names, but I follow him on LinkedIn and he made it. He's a Nigerian. I want to say Sheyi something, but I'm not sure. But it's called How to Product, and I think if you Google it, you'll find it. Yeah, it might be a good book to read because it talks about different product managers' paths into products, because all of us are fairly new to products. I don't think it existed as a proper field when I was in school, which is just like 7-ish years ago. So everybody is moving into product from somewhere. So just reading people's paths can help you see what they did or how to like position yourself in a way that just, works. Okay.
Yeah, no, for sure. No, thanks. I'll definitely check that after this call. The other key things is now that you're in the role as a product marketing manager, I know you just recently got into the role, but when you think about sort of next steps, so 2 years from now, what does that look like for you, and how would this role help you position you for that in the future?
Really great question. And hard ones. Like I had to talk to my manager recently about like this, and I was just like, I just started, like, leave me alone. But I mean, I didn't say that, but that's what I was thinking. So Google is actually really good at like having ongoing conversations about performance, about career and stuff like that. So there's a bit of a job ladder that I can see what my level that I'm at and what like the next couple levels are, and in terms of what the performance should be at each level. So I'm using that as a guide for the kinds of skills I want to gain, or like the kinds of rules how I expect to be performing in a couple years and everything. So this role was something like I was looking forward to for a long time, and now that I'm in it, I'm like, oh, okay, it's great. But I'm also like thinking, like, I'm not able to see beyond a couple years from now. And I'm not sure if that's just based on my own short-sightedness or if it's a change of priorities, but I'm not sure yet, is what I'm saying. But in terms of immediate skills that I'm developing, I am developing or growing in my like presence, like ability to, just show up and like be confident and present my work in a way that makes other people excited about it. And like I'm talking to one of the people that I respect that does it well within the company as well. So we formed like an informal mentorship thing in that fit. And I think it's also great because Googlers are brilliant people. So if I have access to people, why not? So there's that part. I'm also growing in like leadership and ownership, which are the two things I was mentioning earlier. Like I do them to an extent right now, but like Google is huge and the scale of work is huge as well. Like everything you do has like exponential impact. Like the thing that I thought that I would have, like, so this is from where I'm coming from in the government. Like for my role, there would be like a team and there will be a manager on top, but I am the team and I'm the man. I mean, I have a manager, but like there's no small business team, it's me. So I find that very interesting. So there's like a small medium-sized business team. There's people that deal with like other things like export, other people that export like small medium-sized businesses in Canada exporting their products out, or like serving people in other countries. There are people that deal with like digital skills, but like small business alone is me. So each person is each thing, and that came as a shock to me at the beginning, because I thought like, wow, I guess it means that they're using their people to the max. I keep telling everybody that all the money you get, they squeeze the heck out of it from you in the work that yeah, it's a lot of work. So that part came as a bit of a shock, but I mean, it's been 5-ish, 6-ish months now of being in the role, and I think that I can no longer say it's a shock. So I'm just getting used to it, and like getting used to the scale of the work and the impact that I know I'm able to have. So just thinking about it as an opportunity, and like making sure that in my time I'm like serving the people of the small businesses of Canada as best as I can, because there's a lot of resources available to us. It's just like, yes, the way to say it is things don't happen except you make it happen. So it's all on me in that sense. So just getting used to that and doing more with it.
Yeah, okay, thanks for actually sharing that, because even as to my second question was, which was really understanding what are some of the things that you want to be known for in your current role. So not even talking about Google, but as a product marketing manager and really building your brand, that as you move forward in your career, what are those things you want to be known for? What are those things that you've actually considered?
I don't know if I want to be known for a product marketing manager. And I've been thinking about this lately. I feel like I want to be known as a relationship counselor. I know. So yeah, I think so.
I come to you for relationship questions.
Yeah. So I and it's funny, this is 2022. I feel like I remember being asked this in 2016 as well in an MBA class, or it's 2017 maybe, and I said the same thing, and I'm still saying the same thing now, and I haven't done anything to move things forward. So yeah, I might be, I wrote a book. Oh, I shouldn't say that. I wrote a book on relationship, situationship, how to stop breaking your own heart. There's that, but I feel like there's a chance I might.
Oh really?
Oh yeah.
Situationship.
Yeah, check it out on Amazon. But I think there's a chance I might go back and do a master's in counseling related things, or relationship, family therapy or something. I may or may not leave this part in the video, but like I think that I'm just thinking more about like, okay, now that I'm at Google, I'm like, so this is it. Like I work for the Google, and like I'm thankful. There's a lot of great things. The benefits are great, and aside to pay, just like the prestige, the health benefits, the things that come with it are great. But I feel like there's more. I've been thinking about taking YouTube seriously, because there's also more money there, even though YouTube technically belongs to Google too. But like I don't know. I feel like in a couple years, what I know I'm doing already this year, if you're asking on a personal basis, like I'm trying to build out consistency with YouTube, like just getting myself to put the stuff out there. But before I do that, I first want to figure out exactly what you said, what I want to be known for, because if you keep on putting stuff out there, people are going to know you for that. And I'm struggling with that because I've never been one thing. So like I've never just done one thing. Like right now I do this product management gig. I have a gift box business where I create gift boxes. I work at OBR with Image Studio to do digital marketing and helping businesses get online. I wrote that book. I'm an author, and people sometimes invite me to speak on things, and here I am telling you that I want to be a relationship counselor as well. So like I'm not used to being one thing. So when you say what do I want to be known for, I don't want to be like CCME who's known for food. I don't want to be XRN who's known for financial. I want to be, I feel like I want to be known as a trusted resource, largely on relationships, but also maybe on like life matters. Like yeah. This is me reflecting. I will take that offline and go think about it somewhere.
Yeah, no. The reason why I asked that question, because understanding like what you want to be known for, that helps drive like where you sort of see yourself in the future, and that like helps me understand, what are some of those things that you need to like curate or have, or those values that you need to have that will help determine sort of your next steps or values that you want to carry on as you move forward.
So if I wanted to continue in like just like continuing product marketing, which I do for the short term, but I'm just thinking long term, I'm not sure yet. I really like my current manager. Like, he's just extremely kind. Tristan Lee, he's like extremely kind, extremely thoughtful, extremely thorough in his work as well. He gets things done. So in a sense, I want to, like, if I want in my work life, I definitely would like to be like that, like with just being known for being on the ball. Like I'm capable in this area and I execute well as well. And that comes from, like, he's not just good at the work, he's good at the people as well. Like when you're talking to him, you can tell that he really cares. Like, I want to be like that with people as well, like to not be trying to multitask when I'm talking to people, all that good stuff. So if I were growing in the field, that would be someone to like try to be more like. But yeah.
Okay. Now, still on your current role right now as a product marketing manager, what are some of those challenges that you're experiencing in your current role? Maybe ones that you never thought you would experience, and those that you thought you would experience too.
You really have to like get used to building relationships with multiple people, from legal to policy to your global counterparts, so like the small business that deals with the whole world, with peers. Like, there's so many relationships to manage, and I guess it might be easier if we were in an office, but like having to book meetings to talk about everything is just really annoying. But I have to do it because it helps get the work done. And it helps also get like a fuller perspective. So if I'm planning something, I can't plan in isolation. I should bring in brand and rep, I should bring in insights, I should bring in some other people that can think about all these things. It's helpful, but it's just like, oh gosh, work.
No, I definitely understand when you say that. In my role, I'm always working with so many different stakeholders. Much recently, there was, when I say gap or the miscommunication among some stakeholders. So it's having to bring everybody into the same room. Let's know what are your viewpoints, what is the solution, make sure everyone's on the same page with the same understanding. So I do understand when it comes to sort of building those relationships and having the right people at the table to make the right decisions at the right time. I want to be mindful of your time, and I don't just want to keep on going. I'm going to ask 2 more questions. Okay. What are some of the things that you like right now? I know I did talk about the challenges. So what are some of the things that you like about your current role?
I feel like the work I do matters, which is something I had been seeking for a really long time. Just like work that feels important, and is important. I can see the impact of it on real businesses. I can feel myself growing. Like the first 3 months were extremely busy for me because and tiring. I felt like my brain was like, I wasn't fasting, I was eating at the time, and I would end each day just really tired, and I could feel like I was really stretching and growing. So even just 5 months later, I definitely know that I have grown significantly more than I have in the rest of my career so far. So Google is a wonderful place in terms of challenging work. So I like that. That's another issue. Do I want to do that forever? Like, I'm not trying to be yeah. So there.
Yeah. Yeah, no, thanks for actually touching on sort of that challenging work, because I think that's important, and I think I share the same sentiments as to why I'm really gearing towards products, being able to work on things that are challenging, and at the core of it being challenging is being able to serve the purpose that I'm passionate about. So yeah, that's definitely very important. One last thing is, how are you able to phrase your resume without knowing that you have direct product manager experience? How are you able to sort of package your resume in that sense?
So I did have direct product manager experience because I shadowed a product manager for a year, and I essentially was working as him on some days. Some days he wasn't available, I was doing his work. He was still like the senior product manager in the sense that if things went utterly wrong, obviously it would be his name, not mine. But like there were days where like would have like the CIO come in and he wasn't there, and it was me walking people around. So I have done his role in a bit. So I phrased my year there as my experience there. I also did not shy away from putting up my volunteer experience in marketing on my resume. So I phrased it as the work it was, because if you've worked for non-for-profits, the people that don't pay you are the ones that work you the most. So yeah, honestly. So it's yeah, it's a lot of work, and I put that on my resume, but I didn't change my resume for Google, which is something I find interesting. Like the same resume that I used for all the applications that I didn't hear from was the one I used for Google too, and it worked. So sometimes you just gotta wait till it clicks.
Yeah.
Wait, but to answer your phrasing question, if you've like you already say you've cleaned up your resume to be like product owner and things like that, so just make sure that you're also like speaking the product language in the resume. So go through a bunch of, I did this work in the past, which is why I'm saying I didn't change my resume. Go through a bunch of job descriptions, thank you, and like see the ones you appreciate. So like for companies you want to work for, at the time for me it was Walt Simple, it was all these fan companies, so Facebook, Amazon, the rest of them, and then see what your resume says, and yeah.
Okay, no, that's definitely very helpful. I know we're already at time here, but one last question I did have is, as someone who's not looking to bridge into product, do you have any suggestions for me to connect to someone else just to really continue that story and build that experience? And I'm just saying this overall, it doesn't have to be anyone in Google respected, but just anyone that comes to mind that you think would be a good person to connect to and just learn more about the product space.
Honestly, I still recommend I'm doing it, because I find that if someone has raised their hand to say I want to mentor someone, then they're in a better place to, you know, really be pouring out their hearts to you and all that good stuff. So I want people that have raised their hands as opposed to feeling like you're bugging people, because it just is, I think, is a better approach. And they have a good variety of mentors, from engineering to different area, product management, product marketing as well. I think these conversations are helpful, but then don't tire yourself talking to so many people as well. It's a weird balance, but let me see. I liked going to all those chats. So whenever somebody was already organizing a chat, whether it was a Zoom call, a Meet call, or like a one-on-one thing, sign up for them and actually show up and then talk during those, even if it's like it's not one-on-one, if it's a group of people. Talking means that you're memorable, like people remember you and stuff like that. So raise your hand and speak. Put yourself up for opportunities. If you see a role that you think is a good fit for you, feel free to look within your network to ask for referrals. In Google so far, I'm not sure if the referral is working or not, because maybe it's just harder, because I referred people as well and I haven't really seen much come of it. So I don't know how strong a referral holds, but maybe I just don't have the power to hire yet, because I don't. Maybe that's it. I don't know what the process is like, but I'm saying we're getting help. Hold on, let me think a bit more. We're getting help. And like, you know, hold on, just I feel like it's coming. Just there's a bit of time and chance with all these things. Like, it's not by who talks to the most people, it's not by who has the perfect resume sometimes, it's not even by who's the best suited for the role sometimes. It just might be the right timing. You apply, it sounds very woo-woo, but it's just, I find that I don't know that you can absolutely game the system, but you can build your resilience, you can build your tolerance for rejection, because looking to pivot can take a while, and you can just encourage yourself. And if you feel like you're getting low on like your own energy, then maybe you can seek out these coaches that are helping people move into new roles, because then you're paying them to help you do the work and help keep you accountable. And that's where I recommend making the move as well, because my husband worked with them and they really were very helpful, even though it took a while, but they stayed helpful till the end, even to negotiating salary and things like that. Yeah.
Okay, no, that's definitely very helpful. No, those are resources I'm definitely connected to. No, definitely still doing more like, one of the things you mentioned was around not burning yourself out with like meeting with everybody.
Honestly,
because I know, and I've experienced that in the past, where you just want to keep networking, and it gets to a point of the threshold where you can't sustain that anymore. So definitely can relate to that. But no, everything is really helpful. So thank you so much for really your insights. It's been really helpful. And even staying like an extra 30 minutes, I appreciate it. I know you're busy.
It's okay. It's a Friday, so I appreciate it. Good. But thank you. You asked such insightful questions, and I feel like you're extremely brilliant. And if I have any roles within my team as well, I will be happy to talk to you about them. Not that I have any powers of people, like I'm just going to pass them along, but yeah, keep an eye out for companies that you're interested in, and if they have anything that is like, promoting a fair for women, for Black people, get in. Like any opportunity, any advantage you have, use your unfair advantage, use it. Yeah, I feel like you're going to be extremely good places, and I'll be like, hey, I knew her when she was like awesome, but now she's awesome, if that's a word. But yeah, this is really exciting. It was nice talking to you, Kewa, and just getting to know you a bit more about your background. Don't downplay all the things you've done. Managing is not beans, so yeah, use that as well. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, for sure. I know. Yeah, thank you for praying.
Okay, that was a long one. I hope you enjoyed the conversation and my coat of many colors that I'm wearing in it. Like I said, please remember to subscribe, and you can share this video with someone who you think will find it helpful, someone who's job hunting, someone who's trying to get into Google, someone who's trying to pivot into a new career. So yes, please share it and help me get to reach more people. And if you liked anything about the video, let me know. If you have suggestions for future videos, please also let me know. Thank you and have an awesome day. Don't forget to enjoy your life.